And we're gonna go down in this building right over here that looks like a depot. So you're not gonna believe this when we go in. You're gonna think it's a massive club layout, but this is owned by two people, Mr. and Mrs. Stern. So I'm gonna bring you in there. We're gonna show you that railroad. This is just awesome. 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 You drive by from the road and you would say, hey, look, there's a depot over there. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Yeah, check out this old rail wagon here. So I'm in Zumbrota. This is Scott and Nancy Stearns. And this is their railroad. And they're going to tell you a little bit about the railroad itself and the idea and why he decided to make this railroad and what's involved with it. Go ahead.
Okay. Well, the railroad itself is based on my memories as a kid growing up in Aurora, Illinois. It's the Chicago, Burlington, and Quincy in the mid-60s, going from Chicago Union Station to Savannah, Illinois. It's something I've always wanted to do, and now that we're retired, we finally have a chance to do it.
So there's 3,000 square feet to this garage, if I remember right?
Well, the railroad is 3,000 square feet because it's 2 levels. Each level is about 1,500.
Okay. So how much track do we have on this layout?
I'll let Nancy answer that one.
We've got about 5,000 feet of track on this layout. We started out with 4,000 and then we added some other additional pieces. So it's about 5,000 linear feet of track.
So when you decided to build the railroad, how much track did you start off with?
We originally purchased 4,000 feet of track.
And how many people were involved in laying the track?
Mostly just me. Scott would lay out the design and then I would put it down.
Nancy's much better at laying the track than I am, so we recognize that really quick.
So how many trains can you run on this layout at one time, you think?
If you figure running all the jobs that we have on the railroad, we could easily have 15 to 20 trains moving at the same time doing different jobs.
And you know, walking around, I don't think I could even count how many cars you have. How many cars and engines do you have here?
It's about 1,300 cars and 150 to 200 engines.
So I see some other people in here that are doing some things, some work. How do people get involved with working on your railroad?
Well, the three guys that really help us a lot, Dan, Terry, and Lynn, they've been helping us for about 3 years. We have a work day every Wednesday from 9 to 4. So they come over every week and help us build the railroad. And the biggest thing they get out of it is a free lunch. We do buy lunch for those that come to help. But being a private railroad, I mean, if you want to get involved, all you have to do is just let us know. The big difference between this and a club layout, you know, clubs have a committee, they have rules, they have this, they have that. With a private railroad, it's, you know, we're building our railroad, and as long as people agree to that, that's the only thing we ask. It's our memories, and we're footing the bill for it. But we sure appreciate any time or talents that people can offer.
And you run this as if it was a real railroad.
When we have an operating session, it's actually run as if it's a real railroad. We have 2 dispatchers, a tower operator. We have three yards. Each has a yard master, and then switch engines working for them. We have way freight switch jobs that go out on the line and switch towns. We have through freights, like what you see nowadays, mostly out on the railroad, that just basically run from one end to the other.
Cruises.
So if people were interested and wanted to contact you, is there a Facebook page or something for your railroad?
We do. We have a Facebook page. It's called the CB&Q Chicago-Aurora-C&I Model Railroad. And so that's on Facebook, or I'm also on Facebook too with Scott B. Stearns, Stearns.
Okay, well, thanks for the information, and I'm going to include this in my video.
Well, great. We're glad you could stop by, and if you really want to see the place humming, stop by for one of our op sessions when we have a crew of 25 people running it.
Do you announce that on your Facebook page when you're going to have one of those sessions?
Yes, we do.
Okay.
The next one is March 23rd.
Well, thanks a lot.
Thank you.
I wanted to show you how this signal changes colors. See that? So all the signals on this whole layout in here, they all work, you know, and change their colors when the trains are moving. It goes all the way back to this room in here. There we go. And I'll have him explain that a little bit. Is that cool or what? That's awesome.
Yeah, essentially what we're doing with the panel there is we're controlling the direction these switches are going, whether they're going for the main line or whether they're going into the siding. And then the signals that you see basically tell the train crew how the switches are lined. So the one we've got down here now, it's lined for the main line, but with the yellow light here, it means the next one down the road is red, so you're going to be stopping. So you can go past this yellow, but you have to stop at the next one. Okay, well this panel here controls the top level of the railroad. And from in here, the dispatcher can control all the main line switches. Up here, this one here that's lit up now, that says there's a train in that part of the on that part of the layout. And as that train moves, we'll see all of these signals here. These will all change color, just like they do on the real railroad. And then we've got signals that are going in out on the railroad, and they'll change as well. So it's very automated, just like the real railroad does. So from in here, the dispatcher knows exactly where trains are. He can set it up so they go into a siding, so they stay on the main line. So he's in complete control here of the railroad. This panel over that you're panning to over here, that will eventually control the lower level. We're working on that as well. But detection is a big part of it, because if the dispatchers don't know where the different trains are, you really can't manage any traffic. And in the past, we relied on the train crews to call in and let the dispatcher know where they were, but that wasn't very efficient, because if you lose track of a train, you have to stop everybody. So by doing this way, they know exactly where the trains are, and traffic moves along. Okay. What we have here, and you'll notice all of these cars have got these. This is what we call a car card. This is how we track the movement of every car. In the back here, this tells us the information of the car itself and how we identify it. And this is a waybill. And what this is telling us is where the next stop is for that car. So right now it's at the ice track here in Cicero. When it's done at the ice track, it'll come out. We'll flip it over to number 3 because we were on number 2. We'll flip it over to number 3, and then it'll go on a northbound train to Savannah and on to La Crosse.
Okay.
Then when it gets there, then we flip it back and start over again.
So you keep track of every car.
Yep. And then when we build a train, all of the car cards for that train go in a train pack, along with a card for the locomotives and a card that tells what the train does.
Is that what these are?
Yep. This is
train packs.
This is a train pack here. So this will be train 82. Comes from St. Paul. It's at La Crosse right now, and it's going to go to Savannah.
Okay, and then
This consists for the locomotives. These are the 2 locomotives. We address them together as number 18.
Okay.
And then here's all the cars that are on the train.
For that particular train.
Yep.
All right, so now we got a camera there and that board. What is that all about?
The board aligns tracks, moves switches and track power for all of the staging that's underneath here, which is Galesburg. The camera is a bird's eye view from the end, so you don't have to crank your head down sideways.
Okay.
And it's showing you the front half and the back half, switching between it. So we have a camera on both ends. So we have about 15 tracks down here.
Okay, that makes them easier to see that then.
Correct.
Okay.
So if I push one of these buttons, it will change the track, it'll move the switch, and it will show you a green for which track you're lined into. And power the track as well.
There, you can see all the tracks marked. See them? So, when we go around the whole layout, how many different towns does this layout represent?
Oh boy. There's probably half a dozen on the lower level and probably roughly 10 on the upper level.
And this is all one railroad, right?
Yep. Yep.
This is the CB&Q, is that it?
CB&Q, Chicago, Burlington, and Quincy,
Okay.
as it ran from Chicago to Savannah, Illinois.
So when you run your trains, it's all CB&Q trains?
Probably 95% are. We've got one Milwaukee road train that runs in Rochelle that does switching as well.
So I'm looking Stratford West, and then this says East-West.
This is the town of Stratford here, and this switch goes to the siding. So you have the main track and the siding track. And in the town of Stratford, this is the west switch. The east switch is down around the corner to the left.
Okay, and what is this? What is this about here then?
This is just a map of the whole railroad, so you can tell where you are in relation to the rest of the railroad. Being in Stratford, that's where the red dot is. So it kind of tells in relation to the whole railroad where you are.
Okay, so to make it easy for you guys to read these towns, we'll hold the camera this way.
Okay, and you're panning from west to east as you go.
Yep, there you go. Gives you an idea how big this thing is here. So how do they communicate with you then from in this room if you were in there running all the switches?
Each train crew has a radio that
Okay.
they use to talk to whichever dispatcher, depending on which level they're on. Each one has its own channel, so they're not talking over everybody else.
So what does that look like, the radio?
The radio? I'll have to go get one.
I'll go get one.
Again. Okay.
So each train crew gets a radio like this, and depending on who they're talking to, they set it to different channels. The
So-
radio's got 16 channels on it, so
Okay, so how many radios do you have?
about 25.
Okay.
And each dispatcher has one. The tower operator at the other end of the railroad has one. And the train master, who is actually our crew caller, he has one as well, because he uses that when we need a crew for a new train.
Okay. Watch this. You're on camera. Watch this. I'm going to get a close-up. There you go. Just say, hello, Mr. B.
Hello, Mr. B.
Hi, how you doing today?
I'm great. We're done wiring over there?
Are you?
Yep.
Good. So what are you doing here?
I'm preparing a signal to be installed on the layout by adding some extra length wires to it and insulation. And then I just finished testing it to be sure it'll work when we put it in, go out and mount it, and then run the wires underneath and hook them up.
So how many wires is there for that signal?
On this signal, there's 4 wires per signal head, because there's 3 colors and then there's a common. So every one of them works that way on this.
Well, I've been here for a couple of hours now, and they're going to head off to the Goodhue Depot and have lunch, so I'm going to meet them down there, so I'll catch up to you there. I know what you're asking. Why am I at the depot again? Where do you think model railroaders eat lunch? Well, I couldn't have a better place to end this video at the depot, having a sandwich. Hope you guys enjoyed this. I'll catch you on my next one. God bless you all.